Hey guys, if you're enjoying the content that I'm making, please click that subscribe button. Also remember to click that bell button and make sure to tick that box to send all notifications so you don't miss out on any videos. With that in mind, let's get on with the video. What's up guys, welcome to Monchkinz Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Monchkinz logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And welcome to my video guide on Abyss Beta 10-15. We have a new floor in the Abyss Beta. So without further ado, let's start this video. Okay, so to start things off in Abyss Beta 10-15, in order for you to clear this all in one go, which you don't really have to, again, these Cosmos fight, you can rerun it and complete the mission that you missed or you didn't want to do just yet, I guess, in order to get the high score. But if you really plan on just running it once, you will need one white crystal character, one staff character, and one short sword character. Now the recommended ones that I have here, at least at the time of this recording, for the white crystal characters, you have the Warrior of Light, Yuna, and Porum. Now these are probably the big three because they actually cover two of the requirements that you need. So for Warrior of Light, it's the white crystal plus the short sword character, so you only have to bring Warrior of Light in order to fill those slots. However, if you don't have any of these characters, Paladin Cecil, Lena, and Sarah are also good options. Now for the short sword characters, you have Warrior of Light again, and this time you have Noctis, Furion, Onion Knight, Bartz, Agrius, Ramza, Tidus, you got Lightning, and Terra as well. And for the staff characters, we only have a very few selection of them. In this case, again, you have Porum and Yuna as your big two, I guess, in this one. You have Vivi, Vanille, Ishtola, and Eiko as well. I think they are the most reliable ones, at least in my opinion. However, I have to note with Vivi, it can be a bit tricky because the last boss is actually resistant to the fire element, and Vivi is sort of locked into that. So if you're planning to bring Vivi, you make sure that your friend support is available for you to switch him out at the last wave. Okay, so now that is out of the way, let's take a look at some of the strategies for each wave. Now the first wave is going to be two Heretic Chimera Golems, and they are weak to magic attacks and resistant to melee and physical range attacks. Now the strategy for the Heretic Golem, I mean, we've fought a lot of Chimera Golems. The only things that really change are their base weakness and resistances when it comes to Heretic versions. The element weakness is still there, and it changes again depending on which active head it has. So it can be weak to fire, to wind, and to holy elements. Now my next tip is basically splash damage is actually pretty nice, but you can kill them one by one because there's no enrage mechanic. And I feel like it is a safer choice since there are no enrage mechanics, so you don't have to deal with two of them. Now it's an important thing to note that the Chimera buffs itself a few times at a certain amount of HP percentage as well. And this is quite common with the Chimera boss, so I guess it's not much of a tip, but just a reminder, because there's really nothing for me to tell you guys that you probably don't already know when fighting a Chimera. The only dangerous part here is there are two of them instead of one. Now in the next wave, we are going to fight two Heretic Booster Machines, and they are weak to the thunder and physical range attacks. He does, however, have a lot of resistances. to fire, ice, and water, and including a 2 times resistance to any magic attacks. So magic attacks aren't gonna do pretty well here. If you do have a mage or something in this fight, maybe it's time to switch into your friend support in order for you to deal as much damage as you can. Now for the main strategy, again, splash damage is nice because you know you're hitting both of them at the same time, but you can kill them one by one. There is no enrage mechanic. However, I do have to note that you do have to try at least to kill them before they fully charge their wave cannon. Okay, let's take a look at wave 3, which is two Heretic Savage Drake. They don't have any weaknesses nor have any resistances. So again, my first tip for this strategy is, you know, splash damage is nice, but you can kill them one by one. There is no enrage mechanic. Now, my next tip here is going to depend on your party compositions and whatnot. So you can summon before they use their charge ability, because they will always start with that charge ability. They will charge themselves, giving them a defense boost, and they will use poisonic ray afterwards. So you will be dealt with quite a lot of damage there. So using your summon before this and to try and kill them before the buff it is actually a nice strategy to use. Now, however, if you have the Warrior of Light and his shields, you can just mitigate the poisonic ray damage with the shields, and you don't have to use your summon in this wave. Okay, so now it's time for the final wave, which are 2 Heretic Crimson Lizard, and they are weak to ice, thunder, and magic attacks, and they are resistant to fire-based elements. Now, main strategy here, well, this time there is an enrage mechanic. However, you can still kill them one by one because you can actually remove the buffs that it will use on itself when you kill one of them. Now, this particular Crimson Lizard, I don't know if this is something that other Crimson Lizard has, but I feel like they don't. They actually buff themselves at a certain amount of HP. It will say it's like getting angry or something like that, and I don't think I, at least from the top of my head, remember the Crimson Lizard having any kind of like buff like this. But essentially it will buff its overall stats, and you can't remove this buff. It's like an aura to itself. So my next tip is, again, if you haven't used your summon, your Shiva summon in the 3rd wave, this is the place to use it. They don't actually have a lot of HP, so you can actually hit them as much as you can with whatever you have left. Now my last tip is, again, having those shields from Warrior of Light or having a healer will help with unexpected HP damage, because it's hard to tell when these lizards are going to use a Brave plus HP attacks. Alright, so now that we have gone through all the waves, wave by wave, whatever you want to say, it's time to take a look at some possible party compositions. And the first one I have here is Sarah, Yuna, and Noctis. With a Noctis support, I guess you can switch out Noctis with someone else. The only reason why I put Noctis here was so I can switch out Yuna or Sarah during the booster machine phase, because they double resist magic base attacks. And the reason why I brought 2 mages is because the last boss, which I was expecting to be a little bit harder, was weak to magic base attacks, and I do believe that the first one as well, the Chimera golems are weak to magic based attacks. So there were two waves where I wanted to exploit their weaknesses. That's why I brought two magic based characters, but you don't really have to. And this is again with a Shiva summon, and again the support can be changed to whatever you like. Quistis can also be quite helpful as well. The next one I have here is the Warrior of Light Shantoto and Ramza composition with a Quistis support and Shiva summon. Now this is actually my second team when I reran this fight, and I must say this gave me a higher score. Not that you actually need a super high score, because there are no extra rewards apart from just clearing the Abyss Beta. As you can probably guess, the Warrior of Light actually makes this fight a joke. So yeah, bring Warrior of Light if you have one, because it's really gonna make this fight so much easier. Now my third team composition here, unfortunately I can't try this out because I don't actually own Porum's EX, nor I have max limit broken her 35 CP, and I'm actually pretty low on armor tokens as well. But this composition basically replaces the Warrior of Light, so Porum Lightning and Noctis for this one with a Quistis support and Shiva summon. Lightning has a few uses here, quite several actually. I do believe a couple of the bosses are weak to the thunder element, plus she's a melee character which can take advantage of melee weakness as well, so that delay is gonna help you out again. And then you have Noctis, of course, probably one of our strongest DPS right now, and I must say he's probably the DPS to beat right now. And Porum can pretty much just overheal you, so in case you take any HP damage, you will be safe. Plus she's a really good Brave battery as well, so it's not like you're using your magic attacks to Brave Shave, so she will just, you know, gain Brave and she can just do an HP attack in the next turn, or whatever the case may be. So even if you keep her in the booster machine wave, you should be fine. Now the last one I have here is a bit interesting, I must say, at least. So I have Warrior of Light, Alizé, and Ishtola with a Quistis support and Shiva summon. I was looking through Reddit and someone actually used Alizé in this fight, and kudos to him or her, which is, oh man, how do I say it? INXarcissus? I think that's Narcissus? I'm not sure, but he or she actually used Alizé, which I found that I really wanted to use her as well, but because of the different weaknesses, resistances, I just didn't want to think about, okay, I shouldn't really use this element right now, I have to use something else. So kudos to him, her, for actually using this party compositions, but you know, Warrior of Light will again make these fight a lot easier. Now the only difference is between me, my suggestion here, and him or her, I don't know English anymore, is they actually use the Brothers Summon and a Squall Friend instead of Shiva Summon and Quistis support. But you can, again, the support is kind of replaceable depending on, you know, on your party composition and depending on who you want, basically. Like if you want AoE, more AoE damage, or do you want delay, it's really totally up to you. Okay, so we are at the end of this video, and of course I'm gonna give you guys my final thoughts on this fight. Now get ready for a long fight. As you guys can see, my first video is still going. I actually recorded another video with a different party composition, which was my second suggestion for party composition, which consists of the Warrior of Light, Shantoto, and Ramza. But I don't know if I'm gonna be able to showcase that at all, because I mean, this one's a very long fight. It's actually not a hard fight, it's just a pretty long fight. I must say, compared to the other Abyss, this probably is on the easier side, probably because we got level 70 characters now, and Cosmos level is getting a little bit easier, but the amount of time you still need to, you know, invest in fighting Cosmos fight is still about in the around 10-minute to 15-minute range. So they do have a lot of HP, but I must say this is probably on the easy side of the spectrum when it comes to the Abyss challenge. So with that in mind, please remember to click like and subscribe if you find this video helpful at all. As always, I'd like to hear from you guys what you think of this fight, and which team did you use to actually clear this fight. I know the team compositions are very restrictive, and I just want to find out if there are other compositions you use, or did you actually have to rerun this in order to get the high score. Let me know down in the comments below, and remember to follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Monchkinz Gaming. This is Monchkinz logging off, and I'll see you guys in the next level.